Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another Steam Winter Sale video. So this time we are looking at the best open world games on sale on Steam right now. Now I can very easily fill this list up with Assassin's Creed and Far Cry games or other Ubisoft games, but I'll try and avoid that. I'll mention maybe one or two here, but I'll try and find some other interesting open world games. So first up, we start with Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. So PlayStation's famous open world game got ported to PC a few years ago. Initially, there were some performance related problems, but they have patched that since. It runs fine now. And it also includes the expansion, I forgot what it's called, Frozen Wilds or something. And this is the complete edition, all in one here. When it first came out, at least here in India, the regional price was very good. So this whole thing was only 1100. Later, Sony increased the price to 3 times the initial price. And now after a few years, finally we have a discount big enough to drop it below that original full price. Anyway, so this is now 75% off, $824 in India, $1249, £10, $1624 in Canada, and $1249 in the Eurozone. Next is another PlayStation game, and this is Days Gone. Another game that initially when it first came to PlayStation, I don't remember seeing too much about it, but over the years the following has grown and people appreciate and like the game a lot more now. And of course it is available on PC, and it recently hit a new highest discount as well early this month, well during the sale actually, and this is 75% off, $824 again in India, $1249, £10, $1624 in Canada. Next we have Hogwarts Legacy, so a newer title from this year, early this year, and again a runaway success. Everybody seems to love it. It's been sold in big numbers. I think the best-selling game of the year, and very positive reviews, 90% rated here, and at a 50% discount. So very good going. So it's $2,000 in India, $30, £25, 40 in Canada, and 30 in the Eurozone. Now this is a Warner Brothers published game, so if you are a little more patient, I'm very confident this will be much cheaper within the next 6 months or a year. So if you're in no rush to play this now, you could wait a little more, because their games tend to be discounted heavily fairly quickly. Next is Elden Ring, and this is the complete opposite. This actually went up in price. So again, makers of the Dark Souls game, From Software, they made another open world Souls-like game, and this was quite interesting, because when we first heard about this, it was hard to believe that this even existed until we finally saw the trailer, the reveal trailer. And yeah, the hype for this one was also unbelievable. So this is now on a small sale. Actually the sale is better, but because of the regional price increase, it's a little more than what it was last time. So 40% off, $21.59 here in India, $36, £30, 48 in Canada, 36 in the Eurozone, 54 in Australia, nearly 500 in Mexico. So it was a little cheaper. So when we got a sale 30%, it was down to $17.50. I think this was the last year's price, and now even though we have a 40% sale, it is still a little more now. Next is Sunkenland, so a survival co-op style game. Initially I was just thinking of putting only single player games, but you can play the single player as well. I played this recently, only got a chance to play a little bit. I even streamed a little bit here, and I actually found it to be quite fun. I normally don't play these survival style games, but this one seemed interesting. So it just starts off with you on an island, and the whole world around you is just sunk and everything, and you just have to start surviving, gathering resources, make shelter, bedding, grow some crops, and do all that, make weapons. But you have to sort of swim down underwater and scavenge a lot. So generally I played, I think, a couple of hours, and it was actually interesting. So it's been updated a few times since I played it. It should be more, there should be more content here. So still in early access, and has a small sale, 20% off, $704 in India, $16, $13.40 in the UK, $20.79 in Canada, and $15.60 in the Eurozone. This would be great fun with a friend or something. Next is Satisfactory. So I did mention this previously, and I'll mention it again. This is an open world game, but it's not the usual story-driven third-person action adventure. This is a base building crafting type of game where you land on an alien planet. You're given this handheld crafter, and just with that you start making stuff, and eventually you make these massive factories with conveyor belts, even trains running and supplying goods and stuff. It's just a very well made game, graphically looks good and very nice to run and easy to understand as well. This may look complicated, but it can be done. Obviously you have to be very organized to pull something off like this, but yeah, very enjoyable. I played a couple of times when it first came out. This is 45% off, 715 in India, $1649. 715 again in India, 1539 in the UK, 2144 in Canada, 1649 in the Eurozone. Next is Subnautica. So this game I have played quite a bit. In fact, I did a full let's play of this many years ago when it first came out of early access. And this is an underwater open world game. The scale is like hard to judge with these style of games, especially with Subnautica. It may not be the biggest open world, but it feels big because you also have the verticality of like going underwater and hundreds of meters down. And so there is a lot here, and very interesting game. You land on an alien underwater planet and you have to again craft and follow the story and try to get off the planet. That is the whole objective here, but it's not as handholdy as some of the other games. So very interesting game here. 50% off, 749 in India, $15, 1249 in the UK, 20 in Canada, 15 in the Eurozone. This has seen a price increase because it was much cheaper in the past. Next is Forza Horizon 4, so a racing game. And I thought, yeah, let's put something here, and this is an obvious choice in terms of value for money and the game. So there is Forza Horizon 5 obviously, but it is a lot more expensive, and in my personal opinion, this is more fun. So you are in the UK in this one, and basically this game had the interesting seasons concept. So every week, I think on a Thursday, the season changes in game. So it could be winter, spring, or whatever. And based on that, if there's winter, obviously there'll be snow. You have to use different cars, and of course you have a lot of cars, houses to buy, events to do. So yeah, interesting game. And I normally play single player these games, but there is like the PvP stuff as well. So this is standard version is 67% off, 428 in India, $1979, 1814 pounds, 2639 in Canada, 23 euros in the Eurozone. Now there is a deluxe version and an ultimate version. I would say if you're getting the game, either get the standard version. You can actually play the standard version via the Game Pass, or just go for the ultimate if you like having all these games, so you'll have the whole thing. Despite this being the ultimate version, I think this pack is not included in the ultimate version because I think it came out afterwards. Next is Far Cry 3. So I did have to mention a Ubisoft open world game, and I thought I'll just mention one, and in my opinion the best one, and that is Far Cry 3. So you are on a tropical island with your friends holidaying, and then there are a bunch of pirates who kidnap you, and then you have to sort of survive, escape, meet up with the local villagers, and defeat the pirates and whatever else is going on. You have two big islands. Most of the time you spend on the first island. Interesting characters, lots to do. You have cars and you have to climb towers to open the map, hunt animals, lots and lots of things to do, interesting weapons, and of course you can just go around, do whatever the hell you want, and also follow the story. The story is also not bad in my opinion. So this is 75% off, 250 in India, $5, 424 pounds, and 649 in Canada. I still think this is the best Far Cry game, and this is now the gold edition. In the past they used to have separate versions. Now they've combined it into one, so you'll get the full thing. Next is Mafia Definitive Edition. So this is a full remake of the first Mafia game from the early 2000s, and this is a very well done game. I played it briefly, but when it first came out it had some issues, so I never continued, but I did play a few hours and I was really impressed. Very well done. The charm for me was all these classic vintage cars in here, and yeah, they did a great job with this. So yeah, have a look at this. Great game. They stayed true to the original, that's what I'm trying to say. So this is 75% off, $549 in India, $10, 874 pounds, $12.49 in Canada, and 10 in the Eurozone. Next is Middle-earth: Shadow of War. So this is the sequel, the second game in the series. The first one was called Shadow of Mordor. That is also an open world, but it was a very tiny open world. So I've only put this one here. Much bigger, more content, a lot of interesting enemies. You're basically fighting the Uruks, the orcs, and you can create your own army and manipulate them and take over fortresses. So the story isn't the best in my opinion, but the combat and just the feel of the game is fun. Very fun, in fact. So this is 85% off. Hang on. Let's get the definitive version because you have a couple of DLCs and the price difference isn't big enough. So I would say at this point, just get the definitive edition. So this is 404 in India, $9, £6, 12 in Canada, 7.49 in the Eurozone. And this is a Warner Brothers game. So back when it first came out in 2017, I did make videos. I was a bit annoyed because they had put in microtransactions in this. And the full game, the what is now the definitive edition, was called the Gold Edition, and that one was $100 at launch. But within 2 years or so, it was quite cheap. So this is what I meant with the Hogwarts game. Just wait a little more and you might even be getting something closer to this. Maybe not this close, but $10, $12, $10, $15 I think wouldn't take too long. Next is State of Decay 2 Juggernaut Edition. So another survival base building game, this time with zombies, and this is something I played recently. Some of you may recall I did stream it a few times and I really ended up enjoying this game, really liked it. So yeah, you are just surviving in a zombie apocalypse, and the difference here is you get some people together and set up bases, whether it's in like a factory or in like a fire station or like an office building. You make sure you have some food, water, electricity, weapons, stuff like that, and then you go around clearing the zombie infestations. And so yeah, multiple maps and plenty of ways to play this game, several difficulty settings as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So this is 67% off, $362 in India, $989, £824, and $13.19 in Canada. Now this has gone cheaper as well. When I bought it, it was 75% off, so you may want to wait a little more. But these days, with the regional price increasing all the time, it is not a big enough difference, like less than 100 rupees. So I would say if you are interested, get it. And in the US, it will be the same. It'll be probably a little cheaper, but the game is worth it. I've put in 20 hours very easily. Next is another sort of survival game, and this is Green Hell. So you are in the Amazon jungle this time. And I played this game again very early on when it was in early access many years ago. And at that time, they had basically about 30 minutes of content. So there's a story, and I think there's now like a separate open world type of survival type mode as well. But at that time, the story mode was you are like a guy and your partner is like some sort of local expert or something. They were like, she was with the local tribe trying to understand them or something, and then you have to survive in the Amazon forest. And the survival here is basically you get bitten by an insect, so you have to figure out how to survive that, and you have need medicines and healing, like a little more serious than some of the other games. So you need the right materials, ingredients I mean. So this is 40% off, $341 in India, $15, $11.69 pounds, 17.39 in Canada, 12.59 in the Eurozone. Generation Zero. So this is your open world survival game again, co-op this time. So in this one, it's set in the 80s in Sweden, and from what I recall when I played it, basically a bunch of kids have gone on holiday. By kids I mean like teenagers or something. When they return home, everybody's gone, houses are empty, and it's just these giant robots and mechs running around. So you have to sort of survive and take out these things. I don't remember if this was in early access when I played it, or if it was the full thing, but this game has recently seen a bit of a resurgence. It was in the Game Pass, got a lot more people playing. The game was very well done, and so this is now on a good sale, 80% off, only $220 in India, $5, £4.29 pounds, and $5.99 in Canada. Now there are quite a bunch of DLCs here, mostly skins and stuff like that. So you have skins for the guns, you have the motorbike pack. So a lot of these things you can get the base game, and if you end up liking it, you can start picking up a few of the DLCs. Just Cause 3. So when you're talking about open world, this has probably one of the biggest open worlds if I recall. And so yeah, you are on an island nation, I think Rico's home country, and you just go around blowing stuff up. You have to basically remove the dictator, I think, or something like that, but most of the time you're just blowing stuff up and destroying everything. So you don't really pay attention to the story. This is just go around, blow everything up. Basically the stuff people do in GTA, this is basically that game. So this is 80% off, only 60 rupees, $3, 179 pounds, and 344 in Canada. There's an XXL version which has like cars and weapons and stuff like that, so you could get that. Not too expensive either. But yeah, if you want a fun open world destruction sandbox, I think that's what you can describe this as, then check out Just Cause 3. And then one of my favorite open world games is Mad Max. So yeah, you are Mad Max, and in this game you start by getting beaten up by the local warlord. He steals your car. Then you find a crazy religious mechanic with a car-based religion, and yeah, you just try to build another car, and in order to get your car back. So it's your standard open world formula. You have to take out enemy bases. The weapons are a bit limited. You only have like a shotgun and a sniper gun later on. But the fun part here is the car customization, car combat. Hand-to-hand combat is similar to the Arkham games because it is a Warner Brothers game, I guess. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable. I've played and completed this game 3 times. So this is 75% off, $269 in India, $5, £4, $7.49 in Canada, and $5 in the Eurozone. Next we have S.T.A.L.K.E.R Shadow of Chernobyl. So another game I recently picked up, a post-apocalyptic setting, open world, first-person game. And this tells a story about survival in the zone, a very dangerous place where you fear not only the radiation, anomalies, and deadly creatures, but other stalkers who have their own goals and wishes. So games from the late 2000s, but very well loved, very highly praised, and everybody seems to like it. I think this is the first of the 3 games. There are 3 games in total. So you have the base game on sale, 75% off, $141 in India, $5, £249, and $6 in Canada, $4 in the Eurozone. It's still on the old regional pricing, which is why I picked it up, because I was worried it might go up. And there's the bundle of all 3 games, only a little more, so $212 in India, $10, $5.24 in the UK, $11.49 in Canada. And then we have Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. So GTA style open world third-person game, very fun, set in Hong Kong. And if I don't mention this game, somebody always turns up in the comments saying you did not mention Sleeping Dogs, so here it is. And this is now 85% off, is always the same price, $109 in India, $30, $239 in the UK, $374 in Canada. And then we have something interesting and new, I guess. This is Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. So this is a Skyrim style fantasy RPG set in the Arthurian legends. There's another game called Tainted Grail Conquest, which is like a roguelike, which I have played. And this is in early access. So step into a dark reimagination of Arthurian legends in the first-person open world RPG. Explore a world stuck in everlasting autumn, witness falling legends, and make meaningful choices woven into a complex branching storyline. So yeah, so this is still in early access, but it is already getting some good reviews. So there's the demo, you can check it out. And this is 25% off, $9.75 in India, $22.49, £18.74, and $29.24 in Canada. So yeah, that's a quick look at some open world games. I deliberately tried to find some different style of open world games. So hopefully you found something interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.